Hello! I can't emphasize enough that I think Steelseries mice are incredibly well built. While I'm aware that the first Aerox 3 wireless having plenty of QC issues, it was quickly ironed out in the 2022 version. The Aerox 9 is a great mouse for those who wanted a long mouse with plenty of side buttons, and despite all the holes, it's actually very sturdy. Not only that, the side buttons are rigid enough for fast-paced FPS gaming. Compared to my Corsair Scimitar Elite Wireless, I rarely misclick the side buttons. In-game performance is decent, not the best, but feels very much like the Aerox 3. A quick side note, when I say decent, I understand it's generally a subjective term. I would like to elaborate that I would compare the Aerox 9 along with the Aerox 3, comparing them to other mice that's known to have the best performance on the market, like the G Pro Wireless 2. In terms of performance, I could tangibly feel very minor motion delay and between the two series mice. However, with enough practice, I'm sure they're considered good enough for even high levels of competitive play. Now on to the construction of the mouse. I have zero idea why the Aerox 5 isn't built as simple as this. Why does the Aerox 5 built with vertical front clips? And not only that, the front clip does nothing to hold the structural integrity of the mouse. And putting the Aerox 5 back together again feels like I'm playing with a bird puzzle, and any placement deviation would cause the shell to become misaligned. Accessing the internals are easy, removing the battery is arguably easier than the Aerox 3 because the front clip isn't heavily secured to the PCB. When looking at the internals, I would say there's a bit of janky look in it. The Aerox line claims that the mice have water resistant properties. While it isn't false, the Aerox 9 had their ribbon connectors sealed with glue gun. Not a bad idea actually, but be careful when removing the pieces as the glue just might come off. Sealing it with glue gun is recommended, but it could be a bit of a hassle. The left side of the numpad is secured with 3 screws. After removing them, at least on my copy, it feels like the tension is clipped to the frontmost circle. Slipping and leveraging a plastic splonger from the outside is highly recommended. The splonger would do the least amount of damage as it's pretty secure to the base plate. Afterwards, the numpad can be easily disassembled. It's a pretty good design considering some people might just want to disassemble it and clean the numpads itself. Once you open everything up, you can see the side is fitted with tactile switches. Maybe in the future I would like to feature a quick video in explaining how to fix any potential clicking and non-registering switches like these. These tack buttons are covered with a rubber membrane, and it makes the buttons more sturdier to press compared to your Corsair Scimitar or your Razer Nagas. The right side of the panel also have some tensions between the holes and the base plate, so I would recommend the same process using the plastic spudger. Now, on to the base plate and the scroll wheel. The wheel itself is large and very comfortable to use. A 5mm scroll encoder is used. I do see why Steelseries opt for a mechanical scroll wheel over an optical, considering the power draw from the TrueMove Air along with the RGB yields roughly 20 hours of usage at 1K pulling on my copy. Using optical anything would drain the battery faster as the light would need to be constantly on. At the same time, since weight is one of the main selling points for the Aerox 9, Steelseries decided to use a 300 mAh battery, and for the most part it's an alright choice. The mechanism for side tilt is built very much like the other mice with side tilt functions like the G903 or the Razer Basilisk or the G502. 2 prongs stick out to engage the 2 tack buttons placed right next to the scroll wheel. And frankly, it's put a lot more simplistic unlike the Logitech G502 or the Razer Basilisk. And also, just like the Aerox 5, I find that the TTC Gold switches on the Aerox 9 feels so much better than the Aerox 3 because there's so much more plastic surrounding the switches, in turn affecting the sound it makes every time you engage the buttons. As for the side buttons, as previously mentioned, they're very tactile. In fact, I am able to do a lot of swiping motions, a lot of flick shots steadily without engaging the side buttons. Now on to performance. I don't have any issues with the Aerox 9, and it's actually quite pleasant to play with. The shape isn't as thin like the Aerox 5 due to the fact that the side plates have a considerable amount of width. It makes it thicker and comfortable for me to put my hands on. So in conclusion, and also my personal opinion, the Aerox 5 is considered the FPS ergo choice within the Aerox lineup. It's a genuine shame how it's constructed with some weird caveats such as the 2 tabs up front, and also trying to reassemble the whole thing feels like it's a broken piece of puzzle. The Aerox 9 on the other hand is so much easier to disassemble and reassemble while keeping a very similar shape and design. And considering that the Aerox 9 has a lot more functionalities and buttons, I feel like it should be the other way around. as in the Aerox 9 should be the one that's more difficult to disassemble. The Aerox 9's construction also has a raised ledge on the right side of the mouse, as opposed to the overhanging button that the Aerox 5 has. This theoretically means that the Aerox 9 allows for more different grip styles compared to the Aerox 5. If I were to somehow be given the opportunity to redesign the Aerox 5, I think I would follow the Aerox 9 design very closely, as I feel like it's much better. From construction and also ergonomics, the Aerox 9 seems to be designed to be a lot more repairman friendly and also accommodating to different grip styles. And that's all the opinions I have for this MMO mouse. I genuinely like it inside and outside, despite the in-game performance being outshined by a lot of other mice. The Aerox 9 definitely has a place in my heart. I thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.